So we are here with Prasad Gankanda. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
You take the time.
Well, when you said, Prasad, can you come and, have the pleasure of me, you doing an interview, I said, absolutely, any day.
Super
Thank you
nice.
for inviting.
I met your wife, Gayatri, already in 2013.
That's right.
We came from Las Vegas by car to Lehi, Utah. I just phoned there, and then it was actually Gayatri who took care of us.
She's the better one.
Oh. Well, I know you very well, and I know
Thank
her.
you.
So you're both brilliant.
Oh, thank
and,
you.
Big asset to Young Living.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I was always wondering how Indians, like for me, Gayatri is like the sun,
Right.
the Shakti of the sun, and
Yeah.
Prasad is like blessing, blessed food also. I never really got the differentiation. Is it blessing in general, or is it blessed food or offering?
That's fascinating. You say that. Not very many know about it. So we were originally born in Sri Lanka, but India and Sri Lanka, we go long. There's so much common between the two countries. Prasad is an Indian name. Gayatri is an Indian name.
Yes.
And I think so. Prasad, from what I know, the meaning of the word is it's the blessings of the God's food, right? It's the God's offering. So yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I think you had even a president or prime minister who was called Prem Prasad or something like that.
Right,
Prem
yeah.
meaning love, and
Yeah.
Prasad.
So my dad's name is Prem.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
nice.
That's my dad's name, Prem.
So
Prem
beautiful.
is love.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's name is Sepalika.
Sepalika.
Sepalika is a flower.
Oh, wow.
That's very common in Sri Lanka. In fact, because of my mom, and she loving the flowers so much, and that being her name,
Yeah.
my dad planted Sepalika trees
Really?
around the state we live in.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And they are important in Ayurveda.
It is. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So yeah, I like you said, you met my wife in 2012, and I think we
2013.
met in 2015.
15, exactly.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
As soon as my wife left, Young Living asked if I'm interested in joining, and by then we have.
They didn't want to let go of you. At least have one of you.
Yeah. So I said absolutely, I'd love to be part of the family.
Yeah. There's also Tulsi Prasad. And Tulsi is like the herb of Sri Krishna.
Okay.
And it's the basil. It's the holy basil. So I was always wondering how important aromatic plants have always been in Indian history and in
Right.
Ayurveda. And now we finally have Davana also for a few years.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a very important plant. Is there anything you would like to share with us about such plants like holy basil or Davana or whatever?
Let's see. Well, you I think you know a lot of history about India and that part of the world, which is fascinating to me. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Me and Ben, we were
Yeah.
both in the APAC convention, and we had a little bit of time. So I asked Ben if he would join me going to Sri Lanka and visiting my mom and dad. I haven't seen them for the last 4 years or so.
Wow.
So we took a short trip for 2 days, and then we were in Sri Lanka. And something I'm very proud about: most of our thieves' oils do come from Sri Lanka.
Really?
Right? Yeah,
Indeed.
cinnamon bark,
Yeah.
very famous.
Yeah.
You got all of the
clove, yeah.
comes from Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
and all of the hot oils that so you
That's
got all of
very interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah. So because Nicholas, he was
Yeah.
in Sri Lanka.
Really?
Doing together with Corey Houghton, they were doing all of the auditing of the farms, and
Yeah.
they came back and they said, Prasad, we were very impressed with the Sri Lankan farming and the culture,
Yeah.
and how much the essential oils, that world, means to Sri Lanka, India, obviously those countries.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know about this. There was a time Gary was looking for the flower blue lotus
Yes.
and the oil.
Yes.
So we thought it would be so cool to continue the legacy and keep looking for that oil.
Oh.
So there is a team that's working behind, and I know we are doing everything to see if we can bring that oil.
Oh, that's
And that is the
amazing.
national flower of Sri Lanka as well.
Yes.
So it'll be so cool to bring the blue lotus oil
Wow.
into young
And that's a
living.
real insider tip. I mean, this is amazing. Prasad sharing this with us, because I still talked with Gary about the Blue Lotus.
Yeah, yes,
And it was one of the main projects. He put it in Build Your Dream,
correct.
because
yes.
it's really like the greatness, the vision, the imagination, the manifestation power
Yeah.
of the Egyptian pharaohs was always associated with the Blue Lotus flower.
Correct. And in fact, in Sri Lanka, obviously, it is a flower that's been offered to Buddha, and in all temples. So if you ever take the time to go to Sri Lanka, and if you visit a Sri Lankan temple,
Yeah.
you'd see a lot of blue lotus flowers offered to obviously the Hindu gods, and also the Buddhist temples.
And Sri Lanka is predominantly Hinayana Buddhism.
Yes.
So
Hinayana
the
Buddhism,
original Buddhism.
the original Buddhism. Yeah.
Very beautiful. You know Pali?
I don't know Pali, but almost all of the chanting.
The slokas they are
The slogans
translated.
are Pali, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
You're very lucky.
I do understand a little bit of Pali, yeah, through obviously the chantings and the learnings of the Buddhism.
Yeah. So amazing. So you're not Hindu, you're a Buddhist.
So yes, I was born a Buddhist. Aditya. I went to a British boarding school.
Yeah.
So I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
But I lived with a Hindu family.
All right.
During my time. I lived with a Muslim family.
Oh, that's interesting. Very good.
But now I live in a state which is predominantly the LDS, the Mormonism.
Right.
So I feel like I've been part of many religions.
You're universal. And so is God.
God is
So is the
universal.
universe.
God is definitely universal. I don't know if I am, but I try to be more open about it, because at the end of the day, each and every religion teaches the same basic principles.
Exactly. And this is something what attracted me to Young Living even more, when I realized that Gary Young was making it possible. People of all faith and atheists, they meet peacefully.
Right.
Because Mother Nature, Mother Earth is the same for all of us.
I agree. He was a preacher and he was a healer.
Yes.
Gary Young.
Oh, wow.
He was all about bringing people together.
Beautifully said. And for me, also an honor, because I grew up Roman Catholic.
Okay.
And then I started to meditate when I was 19 years old. I never stopped. This is now 40-something years of meditation.
Wow.
And I got a Hindu name, or a Sanskrit name,
Sanskrit
Aditya, from my meditation teacher. But my secret attraction was always towards Buddhism. And I don't know why, but I just love Buddhism. I always go to Myanmar.
The Myanmar.
There are these beautiful stupas. It's also Hinayana Buddhism.
Yeah, it's the Hinayana side of things. Yeah.
It's like really Sri Lanka and Myanmar. They have
Those
still
are
the original.
the original Buddhism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because already in Thailand and in Nepal you have the Mahayana Buddhism.
The Mahayana side. Yeah.
And Mongolia also, and then even Vajrayana.
Yeah.
And I always felt this enormous simplicity of Hinayana Buddhism. You know, like watching your breath.
Yeah, it's a way of life.
Yes.
It's a way to live your life. Always taking the middle path.
Yeah. And in these countries, the monks still exist.
They do.
They renounce. They have their bowl. They are collecting alms.
Correct.
And that's how they live. And the social fabric provides for it. Can you tell me from an inside of you, because you are Sri Lankan, how is this perceived? Because for many Europeans and Americans, they cannot imagine how that is possible. How can someone live on alms nowadays?
It is something very common in Sri Lanka. Like you said, probably not for many Europeans or even Americans to that standard, right? When they go to Sri Lanka, obviously they see a lot of Buddhist monks. Yeah. Buddha was all about letting go of the things that suffer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Buddhist monks that start from the age of 5 sometimes, very little monks, and they go to these. Some of the temples are in the jungle.
Yeah.
and they live um, with the help of the community.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Sri Lankan Buddhist communities out there that'll be taking care of these monks because they don't have everything about themselves is dedicated to meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their ultimate goal is to achieve nirvana.
Yeah.
So cooking, cleaning, and things like that are not part of their daily lifestyle. They do it, but the main activity is meditation.
Yeah.
So they're very much dependent with the community
Yes.
around them.
Yes.
And if they get fed, they'll eat.
Yeah.
If not, there'll be no meal for them.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
about
absolutely fascinating.
it. Yes, it is
So
fascinating.
beautiful. And also when you talk about it, I feel this peace coming. You become more silent. It draws me inwards. There's really a big blessing in this, which many people, our Western society, is so outward orientated. And then people, they are stressed. They're running around in circles. They don't have the peace. What is your number one advice for getting peace? Because you have, and this is, I forgot to say when I introduced Prasad, he's like top level in Young Living. What's your exact position?
So my official title is Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Operating Officer.
Yes.
COO.
COO.
And that's like big. What's the difference between CEO and COO?
Yeah, so CEO in a company, CEO, or in this particular, well, CEO is Mary Young, in our company. Then you got Ben Riley as the president. So the president or the CEO is more of the vision caster for a company, right? And COO is known as the guy that gets things done.
So you're really the executive?
No, so
you're operating the things.
I'm more of the operation side.
Yeah, so the executive decides.
Yeah, so we together, all of the we got a great team, that was put together by Mary Young and Ben Riley. So we all get together, and then me and my team. Our main job is executing on larger projects and such. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, under my department umbrella, you got the farms, which is the heart of the company.
Wow.
Right. We have with the farms, the distillation, manufacturing, all of those comes into play. So the manufacturing, warehousing, supply chain, forecasting, purchasing, warehousing, and the fulfillment.
So you have a lot of people under you, like Jody Samuels and.
So Jody Samuels is part of the European team, but she is part of the European team, but she plays a huge role
in forecasting also, because that's a tricky thing.
Yes, so she plays a huge role when it comes to product development and the marketing side of the company. So product development team, the R&D.
Yeah, it's again something very different.
So that team sits under my umbrella as well. We got Mark Bartlett, who we hired. Yeah. He's one of the best, science and educators, a PhD that we have. We also have H.K. Lin, who's an amazing scientist.
And I'm so amazed. He was the one who did the frankincense studies way back.
Frankincense studies, yeah.
And he asked essential oil companies for donations of frankincense oil. Correct. Young Living gave freely. Yeah. And then some other companies, we don't want to name their names, they didn't give.
So he worked very closely with Gary Anya as well.
Yes.
So the research, the R&D side of things, the product development, that's part of my umbrella. Then you got the global call centers, global infrastructure, security, let's see, safety, what else? The foundation, which is the soul of the company.
Yes.
That also reports up through me. So the strategic team reports up through me.
So let's put it somehow. There is Mary. She's the CEO.
Then you got Ben Riley.
Then Ben Riley, he's the president.
Yeah.
And then it's you, COO.
Correct. Yeah.
You work directly with Ben.
Yes.
Which is amazing to see you two being together.
I love Ben. Ben's been
fantastic team.
Ben and I met in 2016. We were in Malaysia. Visiting one of the conventions. In the middle of the night, we couldn't sleep, so we thought it would be really good to jump in an Uber and go see the Petron Towers.
Oh wow, cool.
So we did go there, and we were sitting down watching the Twin Towers and we had a conversation. We thought that was the very first time we met, and
Yeah.
we got along so well together.
In Petronas Towers,
Yeah.
talking through the whole night.
Yeah.
Two giants.
And we thought it'll be really nice one day to work together.
Super nice.
So
When did it become a reality?
So we worked together until 2019, but obviously not in the same team. I was part of the operations team, and he was part of the sales team. He ended up leaving the company in 2019, and then in 2022, there was a great opportunity for him to join the company back. So I remember me and one of my good friends, Taitama Tolman, who is the former regional president of Asia Pacific. We went to his house, Ben Riley's, and Ben was thinking that we are coming for dinner, which we did. We went for dinner, and we sat down. We were eating. He made some great steak.
Yeah.
He's a great cook, and he also makes great lattes, I should say.
Wow.
And I told him, Ben, I think it's time for you to join the company.
So you recruited him back?
Well, we did it together.
That is so nice.
And then the next day he met with Mary Young. Mary Young, obviously, she loves Ben Riley as well.
Yeah.
So this was a Thursday. Monday, we announced it to the Diamonds.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Yes.
I remember. I was so happy because as a sales director, global sales director, he was already superb.
Yeah, he's about bringing people together. He's a great communicator. He's got one of the biggest hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I see you two together, you're like spiritual brothers from another mother, but you're very, very special.
Oh, thank
both
you.
of you. And how's your work with Mary?
Great. I love Mary.
It's amazing because she works so much.
Yeah.
I have the feeling she works like for 14 hours every day.
She does. She doesn't sleep. And that's one of my biggest worries.
Yes.
Making sure she gets enough rest.
Yes. But it's her dedication.
Yes.
It's like Gary, he just served and helped.
It comes down to this, Aditya, I was born in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And Mary Young gave me a chance.
Yeah.
He didn't see my color. He didn't see my religion.
Yeah.
He didn't see what my ethnicity, my background, what language I spoke.
Yeah.
She believed in me. I have so much respect for Mary Young.
Yeah.
And I'll always be grateful for her.
Yeah.
And Gary for what they've created.
Yeah. She has such a brilliant perception of people. I'm absolutely amazed. Also, she knew things about me that I didn't know how she knows it. But she said, "Oh, I just look at you like that."
Yeah.
I'm really, really in awe for who she is, how kind she is, and
she's exceptional. She's
and
amazing.
this humility and leadership, because this is what we originally wanted to talk about. What I feel also with you, now that I hear that you work closely with Mary,
I do.
makes it
Every
even
day.
more logical to me that she would select you, because you have that humility, but you have also that leadership.
Well, thank you. I think you asked. One of my advice have been. This is coming from my mom. People talk about a glass being half empty and half full.
Yeah.
Something my mom always would tell me. It's not about having half full or half empty. It's about having water in the first place.
Oh. Wow.
So I think there's so much power in that.
Yes.
And Mary is very similar.
Yes.
One thing I loved about her, so me, my wife, Utah, it's all about MLM.
Yeah.
We worked for many companies.
Yeah.
But I've never worked for a company like this ever in my life, which is why I've been here for 8 years, and together, me and my wife, we go long ways. There's 3 things, Aditya, that attracts me every single day. I wake up and I come to this company.
Yeah.
The very first is the founders, Gary and Marian.
Yeah.
I've never seen founders like them. I've been with founders who was looking for a quick buck.
Yeah.
And they were all about buying Ferraris, Lamborghinis, mansions and private jets and yachts, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But you know what Mary Young's and Gary Young's Ferraris are?
yeah,
The farms.
yes. And that's the best Ferraris that exist.
Right, yeah. So they're all about putting every penny back into the company.
Yeah,
They invest in the company.
yeah,
You know, we are an essential oils company, but sometimes I question about that. And here's why. I feel like we are in the authentic farming and farmland,
yes,
and essential oils is a byproduct of that.
yes.
Um,
It's exactly my perception. I'm totally amazed that you address it like this. When I was the first time at St. Mary's in 2011, and by the way, that was also the first time I met Jacob. And
he's come a long way.
he was 11 years old back then. He came in the bus and greeted each of us so sympathetically and enthusiastically. And 2 days later, we have to leave, sadly. And I never had such an experience. Like the cells of my body wanted to stay in the farm. I stepped on the bus again and I felt like cells leaving me, wanting to stay on the farm. And then that was only the first farm, so I thought it is
Which one
special.
was that?
Was St. Mary's.
Oh,
And I
beautiful
still,
farm.
yeah, for me it's the heart of all the farms.
That's where everything started.
Yes.
That's absolutely where everything started.
But then with the direct Young Living owned farms, I had the same experience elsewhere. And then I really got me thinking, and what I believe that Gary is doing and Young Living is doing is like a mission to re-establish paradise on earth, Garden Eden on earth.
I love that.
Because people, when they are in the farm, you know, that's something amazing. And how can we have more farms like that? Only if we sell more oils.
I agree.
So actually the oils are the vehicle, and the real mission is to have more
authentic
acres. Yeah.
So we, as of right now, I don't think anyone knows this number. I think we have, around the world, we have over 30,000 acres.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
I've never seen a company like that. And that's the Ferrari Gary always wanted.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, Mary drives a basic Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know, and there are many other founders. I mean, she's a $2 billion company founder.
Yes.
She can drive a Rolls Royce if she wants.
Yes.
But she will never.
Yeah.
She will never.
I remember the days when she was still like 20 years later driving the Mercedes, the old Mercedes she won as a prize in her previous company.
Yeah.
So humble.
Very, very. And in fact, when we travel together to other countries, she would drive her car by herself.
Yeah.
Park it in the economy parking lot.
Wow.
Catch the economy bus. Get into the airport. Talk about just living a normal life.
Yeah.
And you know, to your point, humility is everything.
Yeah.
That's what paints a great leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, this is something I'm sure all of you who have been on the farm, you experienced this already yourself. That is like sacred ground. And the more such acres we have, the more actually earth comes back to the original state. And I believe on the one hand is a big blessing for whoever, Mother Mary or the Divine Mother, Kali, Lakshmi, or whoever, or the medicine Buddha, you know, whatever it is.
Power.
Yeah. But also because things are done right for the land. Because if you see some soil is really suffering by modern farming, genetical manipulation, all these chemical fertilizers, and we are really roasting our planet and poisoning our planet. And I believe this is the real mission of Young Living, that level of farming, I don't know anywhere else.
I completely agree. In fact, myself, Mary, we were meeting with one of the people that she knows, and he said something that I started thinking more. He said, "You're just not seed to seal.
Yeah.
You are soil to oil."
Oh, that's
and
a good one.
That's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are soil to oil.
Yeah.
We take care of the earth because earth is what gives us the oil, right? So giving back to that earth is very important.
Yeah.
And if you meet our farms team, you would see what they do to preserve the earth.
Yeah. So you have the farms team, you have sourcing, you have product development,
Correct.
you have marketing, or that is sales.
No, that marketing and yeah, that's
in
a separate
sales
function. Yes.
So please say it once more in a short way.
Okay, short
Because
way.
we in the field, we're always a little bit confused.
Yeah.
What is this? What
So
is that?
I got the entire supply chain, right? Supply chain starts from forecasting and sourcing.
Okay.
Then you got the farm side of things.
Yeah.
That's distillation and the farming.
Yeah.
Then you got the manufacturing.
Yeah.
Then you got warehousing. Then you got fulfillment. So that is end-to-end supply chain.
Now I got it.
And then on top of that.
So basically, it's the whole seed to seal.
Yeah. The
or soil to oil.
Yeah, seed to seal side of things, right?
Yeah.
Then on top of
and
that.
then on top of that, the foundation.
The foundation's there. Then I also have the product development team, where we got the innovation teams, the R&D teams, the research and the science departments and such. Then I also have the strategic team, implementation of strategy for the organization. Then I have Joe Walker, who heads up farming and also global infrastructure. So global infrastructure is some of the IT networking side of things, not the IT websites, but the IT networking, security side of things.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You have also all the logistics.
I do have all of the logistics under me. Yes.
And this in these last 3 years.
It's changed. It's fascinating. And also the global call centers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So all the way to us, to the customers and partners.
Yeah. So my team is all about taking care of leaders like you, because at the end of the day, Gary's mission and Mary's mission is taking essential oils into the entire world, and without you, without leaders like you, that's not going to be a possibility.
Without all our beautiful partners.
Yeah.
And think of it, if really we manage to have Young Living oils in every home of the world, how much sacred ground in terms of Gardens of Eden, in terms of farms will there be? So it's a huge vision.
It'll be, I know when that day happens, Gary will be smiling.
Yes, absolutely. So the other side, like Ben Riley's side, is then basically sales and marketing. And
so I report directly up to Ben Riley.
Okay, so he still...
he still oversees all of,
because this is, I'm like a greenhorn. I don't know how big corporations are structured.
And on top of that, Ben also have the marketing and the sales side of things, and IT. And then we also have we got Kevin McMurray, who's our chief legal officer. We have Melissa Bishop, who's our chief financial officer.
And that's also a very important one. This is Gary and Mary gave us a guided tour through American Fork, and they told us we were never dependent on banks. We never took a bank credit. And I loved that so much, because I was always suspicious, never get a bank credit, never get dependent on the banks. Have you seen that with any other company?
No.
Of that size particularly?
Unfortunately, no. Because I'm not seeing someone like Gary and Mary. Because, when they met, Young Living was created for a purpose and not for a profit. He absolutely meant it. And to many other companies, it's all about a quick buck. It would be lucky if a certain companies, some of these companies would last for 5-6 years. And if or when a certain company is doing well, they would just turn around and sell it.
It's like wheat. You grow it quickly, and then it decays quickly, or you sell it before it decays.
Exactly.
And Young Living is like trees that become hundreds of years old.
And I can guarantee you, Mary Young will never sell this company. Gary said it beautifully. Young Living is a community. And communities are not for sale.
So good. Oh wow, it makes us feel so safe, because for all of us in the field, it's like a company too good to be true. It's like a home. It's like, it becomes like life itself. I've never seen that type of identification with a company, because it is a community, first of all, and not a company.
So Aditya, I think I said there are three things that brings me back to the company. Obviously, the first one is the founders and their vision
Yeah.
and putting everything back into the company.
Yeah.
The second thing is the legacy and the
Yeah.
history we have.
Yeah.
We got amazing products that goes back to 30 years.
Yeah.
And there'll be many companies out there that would die to have what we have.
Yeah.
The stories, the life-changing stories
Yeah.
these products have together with all of you.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's a culture.
It's a culture, yeah. I say this in the nicest way. It is an amazing cult. It's a good cult,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it's a strong bond that we all have with each other.
Yeah.
And obviously the last one is the community.
Yes.
I'll tell you another story. When we went to Sri Lanka, me and Ben, after 2 days later, I gave a hug to my mom and dad, and they're getting old. They're 76. My dad is 78 years old.
Wow.
He had these eyes. He looked into me like, I don't know if I'm going to see you again.
Yes.
And such an emotional situation, and we were all crying and hugging. And Ben Riley, he was right there with us crying. And he hugged my dad and he said, I'll take care of Prasad.
Yeah. Wow.
It only happens in companies like this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he's like a spiritual brother.
He's a spiritual brother.
I think the leaky eye syndrome, as Gary called it, it's also something very familiar. Yeah. Which other company would you have that, true heart-to-heart tears of gratitude, tears of joy, but also tears of compassion and kindness?
Yeah, and the last 2 years was hard for Young Living.
Yeah.
Because we believe in oils.
Yeah.
And we love our hugs.
Yes.
And what the pandemic did, it took our hugs away.
Yes.
But the hugs are back.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to do great.
Yeah. So final question. I always admire when you are like the, how do you call it, the MC, the master of ceremonies in these diamond conferences where all the big shots are coming and you're basically bringing everyone together. And I saw that you do that with so much skill and humility, and it's just perfect. It gave me the idea like you are a conductor, but of course we know that Young Living is a perfect orchestra because of the culture that has been built. But anyway, what I saw always in these Diamond conferences, now it's a little bit different because we have the live streams with Ben every Tuesday, and still that gave me something that I said, wow, if I had that in my team, if other teams had that, because it's also in the teams in the field not so easy to bring everyone under the same umbrella and be inclusive, all the different characters. And I believe each of our teams could be still much stronger if we were masters in that skill. And I was asking words of the wise from you. Is there any hint or any tip that you have for us?
No, that's kind of you to say. A leader is defined as how good his or her team is. I'm all about bringing people together because I always tell my team, I want you to fail together, because you gotta fail to innovate.
Wow.
I don't believe in the concept of heroes.
Yes.
I genuinely feel like heroes are selfish. I believe in Captain America and a team around him that works together.
Yes.
I don't know if there is any words of wisdom, but you're right. It's an orchestra. My mom always says this to me. There are two types of leaders, and the leader that I want to be is the one that can put their hand into someone's heart and change that person for the better.
Yeah.
And I want to live by example. I'll always be there for my team.
Yeah.
I'll always be there for my team. And they are my family. They are my family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people within Young Living, great brand partners, they put their team ahead of themselves as well.
Yeah.
And Gary did that every single day. And Gary was surrounded by great people.
Yeah.
And he was I think I said this before, he was a preacher and he was a healer, and
Yeah.
he was about healing amazing people for the better better world.
And that when everyone was in the warm at winter harvest and the truck broke, then Gary was outside in the snowstorm
I've heard the
fixing the
story.
truck. Amazing. It's like he could be like the big boss, but he was like the most humble servant of everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to the leadership style, I think it's not about winning alone.
Yeah.
I would rather see my team failing together
Yeah.
than winning alone.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, and I got the additional dimension when you told me the story with Ben visiting your parents and crying with your parents and your father maybe not seeing each other. I started to cry because it's so touching. And I think that's another ingredient, that's not only to fail together, but to cry together for a good reason.
Yeah.
Because that
Leaky, I
bonds
see
us.
through.
Yeah,
That's what shows the true bond.
yeah, exactly.
That's what shows the show.
Gary always made fun of it, leaky eye syndrome, but in reality, maybe there was some magic bond in that way that we didn't even realize at that time.
Emotion is what brings us together.
Yeah.
And that emotion, the stronger the emotion is, the stronger the bond.
Yes. Wow.
So,
thank you so much.
oh, thank you so much, Aditya, for
It was
inviting me.
beautiful.
And I really appreciate everything you do as a leader.
Yeah.
You're all about bringing people together. You're all about the positive side of things. You're all about having water in the first place. You never look at the glass and say, oh, that's happened.
Yes, it's about the water. I learned that now. Thank you so much.
Yes, take care,
Prasad.
and it's always good to see you.
Thank you.